My name is Brian Kethenji Njoka. I'm a construction project manager by profession. I work for Kenya Reinsurance Corporation in charge of the capital projects. Now, I'd just like to make a short presentation on what construction project management is about in my context. I know there are various contexts depending on where you work. If you're a consultant, if you work for government, if you work for a contractor. So I'll give it from the perspective of government and contractor, which are the key places I've worked in throughout my career. So from the contractor point of view, you're basically in charge of making sure that the contractor is doing things as scoped in the bills of quantities, in the architect's drawings, in the structural engineer's drawings, the mechanical electrical engineer's drawings. You're the key person in ensuring the contractor does not go above and beyond that scope, ensuring that the workmanship delivered on site is as specified, and pointing out issues that may arise currently or in future. You can always project based on your experience and your analysis of the drawings that you're seeing. So you should be able to interpret architectural drawings and all engineering drawings and be able to convey that to a contractor and also convey it to the consultants where you're seeing that this will be likely a challenge or already is a challenge, so that you mitigate the effect of these things as the project progresses. Now, from a government perspective, like where I work, my job is actually to envision an entire project from inception to completion. So what I mean by this is we sit down with my colleagues and we have a few facilities and we say that this is what is required. So do we require to have additional investment in a new project, or do we need to refurbish an existing building to increase its rental value, to increase its appearance, to mitigate against very expensive repairs and the likes? And then after looking at the need analysis at that level, we come up with what exactly that will entail. So maybe I can give an example so that we can walk through this example. I would say the corporation owns a building like Anniversary Towers. So Anniversary Towers was built in 1990. So in the last 30 plus years, of course, a lot of wear and tear has happened, whereas the building is still standing. So one of the things we are currently doing is upgrade of its lifts and introduction of a integrated security management system. So these were not things that were envisioned in 1990. So it was not the fault of the consultants then. So these are things that have just come over time due to technological changes, wear and tear, and the likes. So my job is to come, sit down, and see this is the need analysis. Who are the right consultants that we can get to scope these works? So from your experience, you should know that you need, in a project like this, you will need an architect, a quantity surveyor, a mechanical engineer, an electrical engineer. You need a structural engineer, you need an environmental impact assessment consultant, and the likes. And then you do the terms of reference for procurement of these said consultants, go through the PPRA stipulated procurement procedures, and thereafter, once you sign a team on board, you work with this team to explain the vision that you have. And in our case, because of the complexities of a building being a live site meaning that it's in use every day, you will not stop the activities of the building to do your works. So you factor all these things as part of the scope. The team of consultants go and do what they've been procured to do. Now, as they submit their documentation, it's your job also as the construction project manager to go through all these documents in detail. So you go through the drawings of the architect, the structural engineer, the services engineers, the environmental impact assessments, the traffic management that they've done for both human and vehicles. Once you've done that assessment, see whether it's feasible even from the county government level, whether they will allow you to do some of the works, because some of it might entail encroaching into their spaces. So an example would be you would want to secure your building with say, bollards, fixed bollards around, and you will have to build on the city-county pavement. You need to know early so that you're not going to procure contractors to do works that are not going to be approved anyway. So these are the small details that you need to fine-tune and make sure that they're in line. From that, you get a budget based on the estimates that you've gotten from the whole team. That budget goes through an approval procedure, which is through the corporation, the National Treasury, and once you allocated the budget, you can procure a contractor. So when you procure a contractor, your job also as the construction manager is, you've been both in charge of the procurement process to ensure that the documents are very comprehensive. You want to minimize any instant of variation. You want variations to be simply on items which were completely unforeseen, things that you could not really anticipate regardless. And most of these things should also still be taken care of in a contingency amount that you've catered for. So the better your job you do as a construction manager, the more you will not likely have challenges during implementation. You will have a different set of challenges, but one of them will not be budgetary issues, it will not be contractual issues. So when you go to now, you have a contractor on board, your job is to now make sure the supervising team of consultants are keeping their professionalism and ensuring that the contractor who they are supervising is meeting the quality standards. So you're not only supervising the contractors directly, you're also supervising the consultants, ensuring the milestones are met, ensuring that the timelines given by both the contractors and the consultants are very realistic. I know we like to give very compressed time programs, sometimes to our detriment. So you want to make sure that timeline is realistic. You want to make sure that it's well funded. You want to make sure all the documentation is in order. And you want to also ensure that payments are done in stages. I know there are a lot of issues where a contractor might feel they want to do a lot of work and get paid in a lump sum. It's always very complicated because it's very difficult to walk that journey when that person is not paid on time. Then you find that they have to completely stop all the works, inconvenience anyone. So you would rather have a very clearly stipulated payment breakdown even in the contract, so that the contractor is also forced to invoice as at when they've reached a certain milestone. They should not keep piling up payments because you're also trying to manage the cash flow of the institution. You don't want to have very large payments. You don't want issues to arise thereafter that a contractor went broke midway because they superseded the amount that they should have met. So things like that are what my job entail. Moreover, you want to see the project from start to end. And end does not mean when you commission the project. End means you've commissioned the project, you go through the defects liability phase. In cases where you have such specialized projects, like I've given you for, say, lift and security integrations, you want to even have made sure that you've tied in a service and maintenance warranty period of 2 to 3 years, so that you're walking the journey with the user. At the end of the day, the biggest mistake people make is you put up something, you come up with a project, you do it once you as a construction team are out of sight, you're leaving it to people who don't understand how to do it day to day, even as something as simple as a building, how to maintain a building, how to check which pipe leads to where, which tank leads to where. These are things only that come with live usage of the property or of the project. So we like to see a project typically within a 5-year duration. So an implementation of 1 to 2 years, and then the remaining 3 years of consistent usage and a service and maintenance contract during that period. So I would say that in a nutshell is the job I do as a construction project manager. Thank you.